Our regular meeting to...
Sure. Michael Anderson, Chief Clerk, Voter Registration.
Dustin Shepler, intern.
All right, then we'll call the election board to order. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. The reason why we are here today is would like to request approval of the sample ballots that I have sent you before the meeting, noting that there was one change after I did send the big group of ballots, which was just slight changes to the headers. The Department of State wanted them to be a little bit more specific about the retention election. I do have copies, so I apologize. I have one for you, and I didn't give it to you. They wanted to be more specific about the fact that it said retention election. ES&S does our programming for us. They have to have unique headers, and so we were able to work with them to make sure that they agreed with that. So that's why there's a slight change. I did email you just one of those, just so I didn't waste paper. But I do have every one in English and in Spanish if you would like to see those. So I would like you to approve those.
Seek a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the submitted.
I was out of place doing that.
Commissioner Phillips was out of order.
Yeah, go to
He asked
power.
for the motion.
Should I start over?
Yes, exactly. Could I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the submitted ballots for the November election.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and duly seconded to approve the ballots as presented. Is there any discussion at all? Questions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the ballots as presented indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ballots are approved.
What I do have you here, I'd like to just touch base on some of important dates coming up for our office, and obviously with the upcoming election on November 7th. The first being next Tuesday, October 10th, would be the last day to register to vote. So you do have time if you are not yet registered and would like to vote in this election. We would need to have those applications to our office by October 10th, and you can also register online now through the Department of State's website. We just have to make sure that people understand with the mail and the way that works. It's not like a 1 or 2 day turnaround, so we do encourage you, if you do want to do that, to make sure we do have that by the close of business on the 10th. And the same will be true for the applications for the absentee ballots. That date is November 3rd. They would need to have that application into us by November 3rd, and then we would need to have that completed October 31st. I apologize. October 31st for the application, and then November 3rd is the actual absentee ballot has to be returned to our office. And once again, we want to stress, and it's something the Department of State has been stressing as well, is that we want people to make sure that they know that with the way the mail works, there's not the turnaround. It's usually at least 4 to 5 days. So we encourage people, if they want to come into the office, they can actually do the whole process right in our office. And we do all have that available. But just to make sure they're aware of those deadlines. And then obviously then November 7th is the election.
So the 31st is when they have to be mailed out by?
The 31st is when we have to have the application completed in our office.
So you can mail them out?
So yes,
Okay.
but I can tell you if you wait till the 31st to do the application,
You might not get it down in
we're not
that.
going to, we will mail it, but the turnaround to be able to have it back to us by November 3rd, that's just not going to happen. So what they could do is, like I said, they could come in to our office, room 209, here on the second floor of the municipal building to do that if they get to that time frame. We just want to make sure everybody's aware. So if they know they're not going to be able to go to their polling location on the 7th, then they're going to have to vote by absentee ballot to
Get
do it
in there
sooner
by
than
that
later.
date.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
and not wait, if they know to try to do it sooner, because,
Okay.
we want to make sure that every vote counts, but when we hit those deadlines, it gets really tricky, especially if they want to mail them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gordy.
This is not about the ballot itself, but
Okay.
approaching the registration deadline
Sure.
coming up. How have things been going? Are you getting a steady run of registrations, or is it fairly slow?
Very slow, night and day compared to last year. It's just, very, very, very slow. They trickle in here and there, and then obviously online, but, night and day is probably the best way to describe it.
One indicator that I got the other day when I stopped in we only, at that time, 2 days ago, we had 53 absentee ballots. Last year, at the end, for the general, 3,000 absentee. Now, we have 5 weeks to go, but,
Yep.
even if
Yeah,
we
we're
get
at we're at 75 now.
Okay, so even if we get to 300, that'll be 10% of what we had in the general.
So, and that kind of shows, a little bit, and, as we had talked before, we had 72.5% voter turnout in November, and we were way below that, less than 20% in the primary. So, we encourage people to vote. It's one of the most important elections because it's your actual local offices that you're voting for that probably impact your daily life, maybe even more than on the national level. So,
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Do I have a motion to adjourn the election?
So moved.
Second.